Welcome back to Camp Jevin. Since our last video, we've had some good progress on the back porch that will be on our log cabin here. We're working with a local carpenter, and he put up the posts, laminated this beam here, and has put up all the joists that we'll need before we put the decking on. So today we've just been putting on these 2x8 joist hangers. Now just make sure that the connection to the cabin is much more secure, and then we plan to lay out the decking and put that on. So check it out. All right, well, we've added the 24 joist hangers to the joists. So our porch will be securely fastened onto the outside of our log cabin. We're really happy with how this went. Now we're ready to start the next phase of this project, which will be putting the deck boards on. One of our big goals for this weekend was to put the decking on this porch. And we worked pretty late on it last night, but we are 95% done. Got a few more boards we need to put down, but now we have a wraparound deck. One of the main challenges we had is that these boards, these deck boards, are uneven. So some were over 10 inches wide, some were just 9 inches wide. So we had to find the ones that lined up the best in order to put our overlapping pattern on there. But we figured it out. It's a bit like a puzzle, and we think it looks really good.
So I have one pro tip. Something that we did to try to cut costs is, as Devin said, we hired a carpenter to help us build this deck. But the thing we did to cut costs is do some of the labor on our own. So we had the carpenter do the really difficult things that would have taken us literally until next summer to do. And we took on the easier things that we could get done in a weekend. So the decking, we're going to be doing the railings and things like that. So if you're looking for ways to cut costs, that's an option.
In the next week or two, the carpenter that we're working with is going to come and put a roof over this porch and then some beams supporting it. And then we will add some railings for protection. And then at some point we're going to have to add some stairs as well, because it gets a little old jumping up and down off of this deck. One of our future projects is going to be to cover the ICF. The ICF can stay out exposed for a little while, but after a while the sun will degrade it and it'll form kind of a white powder on it. So we went to Menards and we're looking at different siding options, and we decided on a brand called Novik, and it's kind of like a faux stone. It's made out of vinyl, it's vinyl siding, but it should be pretty tough, and so we've got that ordered. The color we got was mocha. We think that will blend in with the color of the house and just kind of the ground around here. So stay tuned for a future episode of us installing the Novik siding. What else happened this weekend, Jen?
A plumber came by to check it out.
And he is going to be installing our water heater and all of the plumbing for the toilet, shower, and the kitchen. And so we went through kind of what we're thinking with him, and he is gonna start working on it.
Yeah, so now we need to go shopping for a shower, a toilet, and a vanity. We're also thinking about potentially putting in a washer-dryer combo in the kitchen so that we can wash our sheets and our clothes and swimsuits and towels and everything like that.
One thing about the water here is we have a pretty shallow well. It's only 50 feet. And apparently the water is very hard. And so we have to think about, do we want a water softener, or do we want to test the water at some point and figure out if we need that going forward? But that's something we'll probably have to deal with.
Lots of planning left to do, but it's fun with you.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching Camp Jevin.
We discovered that down here by the river we have a hazelnut tree. And so this one's got 2 that are ripe. Never taken these out before. There you go, 2 hazelnuts.
Cool. Wow. Neat. There's another one. Wow, there's so many. There's a bunch up there.